Marcus Rashford wins it in the dying moments of the game. Manchester United go fourth. You ain't slagging him off anymore. Boy Wonder is back, but controversy with the goal. Stay with us on the Football Terrace. We're going to delve into all of it now, live on the air. Smash that like and share button. Let's go. If you're on the lookout for a new pair of jeans, fancy a new shirt, just want to update your wardrobe, today you are in luck. The Football Terrace is again partnering with Boohoo Man, where we can give you an extra 10% off their entire clothing range on their website right now. All you need is promo code TFT10 and or the link in our description below. So when you're finished here, go check it out. Go get yourself some brand new clobber. A little bit of a discount from the Terrace. Big thank you to Boohoo Man. Now just smash this like button. Let's start the stream. Let's go. Manchester United win it. Manchester United win it at the death. I'm sorry, my desk got thrown everywhere when that goal went in. United with a better team overall. Really lacked impetus today. Really lacked that cutting edge in front of goal. And in the dying moments of the game, Man United were able to make it count. Everybody was involved in the build-up to that goal. But in the end, Martial to Cavani to Marcus Rashford, bang, goal. The final kick of the game, done and dusted there. And Man United go back fourth. There is controversy, though. There are claims that the goal was offside. We have not yet been shown the lines. We do not know as of yet. We haven't been shown that. However, Manchester United's goal was given. Manchester United do go fourth in the table. That be the facts of the matter right now. And look, Man United, it's been a roller coaster over 7 days for Manchester United. There have been times where we've been awful. There's been times where we've been brilliant. There's been times where we've controlled games, and we're starting to see some progression in this team. The 4-3-3 suits us. West Ham United had very little opportunities in open play, very little impetus, very little impact on the game. Of course, there was that great-headed opportunity towards the death for them where they nearly scored. Very reminiscent of the Varane chance a little bit earlier. But United controlled the ball. They nullified West Ham for large parts. However, that goal, of course, it's going to send shockwaves through football this afternoon. The controversy surrounding it, first and foremost, is there. On top of that, you have the situation with Man United now going back fourth. Big pressure on Tottenham. Big pressure on Arsenal in their games now to win. Who would have thought it just over a week ago that Manchester United would be the team sitting in fourth right now? I certainly didn't, but 6 points in a week. A clean sheet was important today as well. And Man United slowly starting to look better. But we're going to run a poll right now. We're going to run the poll in the comment sections of should Manchester United's goal have stood? That's the question. It's a yes or no answer. We'll put that poll out there now for you as well. We haven't seen any lines yet because obviously this game wasn't shown. Well, we weren't shown any lines, so we don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what comes from fruition in relation to this. Oh, hang on a minute. KJ, if you've got a picture, send it to me. We'll put it on the screen. DM me, and I'll put it up. KJ said he's got a picture of the lines that we can put up on there to get done. A lot of people saying that it was offside. Here. It was. Still should get Hadara. Listen, we should, and we'll get onto that a little bit later. But look, I was just happy with the win today. I was happy with the performance overall. First time I've watched Man United in a long time where we just controlled the game from start to finish. Of course, there's so much more improvement that's needed. There is no need to get carried away at this moment in time, but absolutely, an absolute fundamental improvement on just over 2 weeks ago where we were being outrun by everybody we played against. We couldn't control games. We were leaking opportunities throughout the course of the entire 90 minutes. So to see that for me, it is hugely important. I've been sent a line. Here we go. I've been sent the line, people. I've been sent the line here. Someone's got it from a different TV show, and we'll get this up on the screen for you. It's not as big a picture I don't believe, but we will put it up. Here it is. Yeah, it's not as big a picture. Here is the line. I can't get in any closer. It's annoying me that someone hasn't made that a little bit bigger. But the lines were drawn. And as you can see, onside is the decision. Onside when the lines were drawn. The naked eye makes it look offside, there's no doubt. But the lines came in. He's been officially classed as onside. That be the facts of the matter right now. I'll try and get someone to blow. I don't know why people take such small pictures. Make it bigger, people. But the goal's been given. The league table we'll take a look at in a moment. But I want to go through your views and your comments. A lot of offsides being shown here as an example. We have a super chat here that says, my 1-0 prediction was laughed at. Look at that now. Bro, you were absolutely spot on. Oral Campbell, of course, if you participate on the Bet Victor show, you'd have seen the Oral put that bet in. That is what he said was going to happen. And it came in. And do you know what, my old mucker? I've just gone and checked now. Bet Victor, they have paid out £30 return. £30 return on that one. Well done, you at 5-1 with Bet Victor. Absolute quality on, of course, the Bet Victor Top 6 show. The original. I love it. Right, KJ sent me a better picture here. KJ sent me the photo. Listen, man, this is 100%. This is 110% onside. I can see it here. Let me just put this up into the screenshot on the screen. This should now be bigger. When I take a look at this. And to do this, here we go. There you can see it. Onside. There you can see it. Onside there for Edison Cavani. He's actually so far onside. Now, a lot of people are saying that's touching his head. That's perspective. He is behind the man. It's onside. Manchester United win the game. Let's do some more of these super chats here. Love the fact it was Rashford. Our fan base are one of the reasons why we won't develop players. Calling him Trashford and all that is disgusting. 2 games. I am going to speak on Marcus Rashford. I am going to do that because Marcus Rashford, for me, deserved to be dropped. He was in awful form. But people wrote him off as if he was a rubbish player, as if he was never going to come good, as if he was never going to score again. A lot of people took the opportunity for one of our best players of the last 3 or 4 years with huge talent. They took the opportunity to attack him when he was down. They took the opportunity to condemn him, to say, I told you he wasn't good enough. And this poor form right now is the proof in that pudding. The poor form right now is the reason that I was right. Look at that. Let's undo everything else that he's done. Let's undo the fact that he's been one of the most prolific goal contributors from the left-hand side in Europe for the past 2 years. And it's 2 games. Look, he put the icing on the cake against Brentford, but gets the match winner. And look, everybody was involved in that goal. Martial deserves credit. Cavani deserves credit. Rashford deserves credit. It's not just about him, but I'm so happy for him because you're starting to feel some relaxation in the play at Man United. You're starting to feel the team come together a little bit more. And as I've said all along, the disrespect towards Marcus Rashford has been an absolute atrocity. Yes, he had to be dropped. Yes, his form wasn't good. Yes, we needed more from him. But he's taken that time out and improved. The same as Maguire today. To say with Harry Maguire, we actually saw a quality defender. And it's one of the biggest mistakes that Ollie made. And even Ollie Inner said this. Drop the players that are out of form. Give them some time on the bench. Make them work for it. And we're already seeing the benefits and the fruits of that labor. So listen, he got the goal. He put it away, back of the net. Manchester United win the game. A few more people are asking to see the picture again. That is it, as you can see there. Onside. There is no debate. It is onside. That is the official line from VAR, and he is onside. So people can scream controversy, people can scream cheats, they can say what they want, but it is a goal. End of story. That is it. If you disagree, though, we're going to open up the lines very soon for you to come on and have your say. Of course, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think and feel. Rival fans as well, like Arsenal, Tottenham. What's on your mind when it comes to this? Is this going to have a big impact? No impact? Like, how do you feel it's going to change things moving forward? And we're going to bring the panel on very soon to have their say. We've got Cam, Sunshine, ZT's back with us. No baggy this time, bruv. Keep that in the wardrobe. We've got Mo and KJ to come on and have their say. We're going to go through all these talking points, but we do want to talk football as well. How impressed were you with Man United today? What kind of improvement do you feel was seen today? West Ham, were they unlucky? We want to hear from you on the show right today. Of course, a big shout out to Boohoo Man, who are partnering us today. You can get an extra 10% discount on their store, right, on all their items right now. The link's in our description below, but use promo code TFT10. You get that extra 10% discount, and you're able to, of course, use that on as many products as you want. You know, you might be losing some weight and need some new gear because it's New Year. You might be getting ready for the summer. Go and get it done now. At the end of the show, though, and a big shout out to Boohoo Man for sorting that out for us today. Let's get the panel out now, people. Actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to do the super chats. Anthony Martial haters, shush, the glue that we need up top. Do you know what, Narco? Love Martial. So happy that he was involved. You know, he almost got an opportunity to score himself. You need your better players on the pitch. And as soon as him and Cavani should have come on 10, 15 minutes earlier for me, I think we'd have won the game a little bit sooner, but excellent, no doubt. This angle is a bit behind, but it is on. Thank you, by the way, to Aryan for becoming a new member of the Terrace. Payments for Manchester United's VAR is there. If VAR says it's not offside, then it is not. It's pointless arguing it. I'm annoyed you're one, though, is what Hamid's got to say. 100% onside, and what a win is what Ray has got to say here. I want to hear from that guy who was slamming Rashford on a previous show. Let's see what he has to say about it now, is what James says. Get in, Terry. Let's go on a top 4 charge. We move close to be onside, is what Victor says. I'm so glad that the check didn't bounce. Good result. Decent performance. Mind you, West Ham were not at it all. Made it easy for United. I'm going to disagree with that. I heard the commentator saying that on a regular basis today. Like, West Ham haven't quite been at it. Man United stopped them. Man United were winning that ball back. They were pressing at the right times. We still were making some of the same mistakes we've made under previous regimes. Sometimes we rushed the ball. Sometimes we were playing passes when they were not on. We've got to learn to get that out of our system and play balls at the right time and maintain possession. The best chance of the whole game up until the winner came from like a 30-40 pass move, and then Bruno's cross came in and Ronaldo just missed it. I don't think West Ham were bad today. They were defensively amazing. They stopped so many balls from coming into the box. Every cross was cut out. When we started to really apply the pressure was when we brought on Martial and Cavani, because we were able to overload them. We should have done it sooner. But West Ham were very good. On the attack, we just stopped them. I really think Man United deserve praise for that. They're fake pictures, Terry. Who made them pictures? Varchester United. The 3 subs made the goal. Yes, they did. And there were 3 very good substitutions. And that's what managers are paid for. They live and die by their decisions. But it's time to bring the panel out now, people, to have their say. Keep hitting that like and that share button for us. Got a great panel to come on the show now. Let's go get this done. Afternoon, one and all. Welcome back to the show. KJ, I want to start with you. Bro, give me your thoughts on that dramatic win.
Oh, gosh, listen, I was sitting there and I was like, this is the first game on the Rangnick I can sit there and say, yo, we deserve to win this. Like, we absolutely deserve to win this. And we were so close to not getting the 3 points. And I wouldn't have come in here and shouted and screamed at how bad we were. I would have been gutted. Come like, finally a good performance, and we don't actually get anything out of it. We've won games and played worse. So the fact that we kept going, we kept pressing on, and we get a goal through Martial being at the heart of it and Rashford being on the end of it. I just love it. I absolutely love it. And I've been saying I don't think we're going to get top 4. I'm not going to sit here now and say, yeah, that's it. We're now going to go get it. But this is more encouraging. This is an encouraging sign. This is what we wanted. We've been screaming for the 4-3-3 for the longest time. Ever since Ollie scrapped it, we wanted it back. It's been coming back. And now, fortunately, hopefully, Ragnick can help implement that even better. It's the first game where back at the back, we were solid. Everyone was tracking back. Elanga, Greenwood made some really important recoveries when the ball was loose for a shot that could have happened. The midfield, McTominay looking more solid. Fred looks a lot better when he's further up the pitch. Bruno is slowly getting back to form. The forward line, there still needs to be some tweaks to make sure that it's consistent, but it's at least a decent platform to go on and actually find a formula that works. That's the most important thing from Manchester United now, finding a formula that works. The 4-3-3, I hope and beg it's here to stay.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. As he said, you were very outspoken last week. Like, give me your take on winning the match in that way.
Yeah, well, boy, thanks for having me back. No packs today. Have a good conversation today. To be honest, it was quite dull. If we look at the overall performance, it was quite dull until I'll say the last 20, 15 minutes. I liked us defensively as a unit in terms of, preventing West Ham from actually getting chances, and David De Gea being only limited to one save. But it was the involvement of Martial which changed the game. And I was speaking to a few people and I was saying, bring this guy on. Bring Martial on. He's going to, hold up the ball. He's going to link up. He's going to pass and move and draw this team out. Because if you watch West Ham, they're very compact. They like to sit deep and then obviously try and counter. But he cut that out. And after, as soon as we got him on the ball and everything was flowing, the goal happened, innit? But at the same time, there's still a few people who I still got a question. I know we're buzzing about the win, but there's still a few people who, the big man himself today for me was disappointing. It was disappointing.
Is in Ronaldo, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to be honest. He was disappointing, and I felt he should have been the player to get sacrificed. If we're going to be honest, he should have been taken off. And I don't think Fred should have been hooked. I think Ronaldo should have been hooked. But listen, praises to the manager. He done what he done, and it worked.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Sunshine, like one of the things you've come on and spoke a lot about on this show before is controlling games, and I agree with Zed that it wasn't all overtly entertaining at times today. But will you please actually dominate a game? As in, be the aggressors, hold on to the ball, and for me, not look shook every single time the opponents were in possession.
100% King. For me, yeah, that's arguably our best performance ever. I had a bit of not a back and forth, but a disagreement on Twitter last week when a gentleman was quite upset that I was not happy with the win or the performance of last game because we won. And there's a fine balance for me as a United fan. 22 years, and I'm sure anyone in that age bracket would understand that Man United to me represents a club that win, lose or draw. If you put the performance of your life out there, you stand up and applaud regardless. And if the performance doesn't match the result on a positive side, then cool, you shake hands, go, listen, that's football. But when the performance is awful and you get a win, you should demand better. When the performance is that good and then you get the win, that capitalizes your performance, but then you get the 3 points to celebrate, and then you get real leverage in terms of proper confidence. For me, that game today was smiling of all of that, man. It was all roses for me. I mean, yes, were there issues in the game? Yes, were there deficiencies? Of course there is. Anyone that thinks that there's not going to be deficiencies over the space of 3-4 months and continuing into the rest of the season is deluded, in my opinion. I can't relate to those United fans. Ralph is not that guy really to make that gap any different. But what you need to understand is that when you have organisation within the 4-3-3 system, which I believe our squad is set up for, then you can give certain instructions to those players. You can allow them to find their form. And today it showed. So when West Ham were breaking, yes, we looked shaky, but it wasn't like we looked like we were gonna, we weren't panicking. The mindset was there. They understood their instructions. I'll finish on this. To me, to summarize it was like a boxing match, and it's a great fight. Yeah, you got two great fighters. One's got a great name. One's an up and coming fighter and is in form. That one that's in form is hitting you with a couple of jabs, but you're wearing the jabs. But when you hit your line, when you land your punches, you're hitting harder. It's a great fight, but you're coming through strong. And I think for me, that goal typified the win. The big giant just took out the young buck in this one. And I think for me, if we play like that, win, lose or draw, I will support it. It's just a shame if we don't get a result. But yeah, today, great performance, and I'm sure we'll get into the players as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm going to be bringing NEEKS in just a minute. He's waiting patiently backstage as well. I get that. How are you, Cam? How are you feeling, bro? Because, I mean, you are typically one of the most positive Man United fans on the terrace. Like, honestly, I was sitting here and I was like, oh, we bottled that. I was always going to praise the control, but we had an opportunity. It felt like gateway moment again. We could have gone fourth and we didn't. But we got through. How are you feeling right now, brother?
This is how I'm feeling.
Right.
In fact, I've got to stop you there, though, my friend. I've been given some feedback in the last few days that fan channels should not allow people to have extreme takes or to celebrate because we're only doing it for views and clicks. So let's keep it absolutely no one say anything. No one say anything that might annoy anybody or frustrate no one because by the way, it's only the Football Terrace. Every other fan channel is allowed to do it, just not us. But yeah, anyway, Cam, go on, bro.
Let me tell you, like, my neighbor came knocked on the door to give me bread. I thought they were going to be like, yo, bro, what's going on over there? I lost it. Rashford is one of my favorite players. I respect the man. I respect him as a person. I respect the way he plays. I love the kid. So I was he needed to be dropped. We all knew that. Any level-headed fan knew he needed to be dropped. And it's so great to see him come back 2 games in a row and have the mentality and do what he's doing. Like, again, like, I said it last time. I'm never going to cheer against the player. So I'm so happy for him. To speak about the game, control. One of my boys, he's a Chelsea fan. He hit me up halftime and he's like, yo, this game's boring. I'm like, honestly, we're looking at different things. It is boring, but like, I'm seeing my keeper not get peppered like 16 times in the first half. I'm seeing us with possession. I'm seeing us actually seems like we had a plan. It was very interesting to see Fred and Scott kind of interchange in that DM role, whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than have one of them sit there and try and do it, which neither of them can. They were going back and forth. Bruno was tracking back all the way back. So they're being drilled. I said it a few times. I'm like, people who are saying like we're starting games strong and then we're dying out. It's because how is Ralph supposed to teach these dudes to stay consistent through 90 games when it wasn't something they were being taught before, right? So I'm not like saying, I've said this, I'm going to stay in the same mindset. Game by game, I'm going to go. This game, I'm extremely happy with the performance. I'm happy with the result. I've said it to people who are saying we're out of the top 4 race already or we're in it. I'm neither or. We'll see at the end of the season. We're going to see at the end of the season because if we play like that every game for the rest of the season, who knows? Who knows where we end up?
I hear you on that. I've been sent another picture of the offside for anybody that's still contemplating it. These are the official lines, as you can see. The green line. It's actually onside by what looks to be at least 10 inches or so. He's actually he is properly onside. So there we go. Done, official, same lines being used, no cheating whatsoever. Cry more. Cry more. That's all I can say is it's onside. The thing with it is, the one thing I would say, I've been very consistent on the terrace when it comes to onside, offsides. I have celebrated. I think if you're offside by 0.5 millimeter, you're offside. I like the new VAR because it's undeniable, undebatable. It's the same rules. I didn't even like the idea of the thicker line. No, if you're offside, you're offside. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Before we bring NEEKS out, Mo, what are you saying as a neutral watching this game? Did United deserve it? Were they lucky? Are you seeing improvements?
So I came after Ralph in the last 2 or 3 games and everybody didn't like it. But this game, I saw a massive improvement, not only tactically, but mentally. Some of these players actually showed up to this game knowing that we are the better team. Someone like Harry Maguire being dropped and coming in and putting that performance, these tackles in the first half. And a lot of you tweeted about like the tackles and all the stuff that he did in the first half. That shows a strong mentality, and that gives it's a lot of credit to the back staff and Ralph and everybody that kept this guy still in the game, and he came in and played well. The second thing I saw this game is the tactical flexibility of your wingers, Elanga and Greenwood in the first half. If you watch their game, they were wide most of the time, but when they were needed inside to support Ronaldo, when he dropped deep, they were there. How many times we have seen Greenwood today getting the ball in the middle of the park when Bruno Fernandes dropped to help Fred and McTominay get the ball out of the defense. This is exactly what a Man United should play. And they showed today that they are flexible tactically. These players, they have talents. I actually today, a lot of people were not happy with Bruno Fernandes in the first half, but if you see his heat map on this game, he was everywhere, busting his ass to help in defense, to go forward, to support Ronaldo. And that is something that we have not seen in the last like 5-6 games. Some people said he was lazy a little bit. Today, he showed that he is there to be probably the best player in this Man United squad. He can carry the squad, especially in the 4-3-3 formation when he's playing the number 10, and he should be everywhere. He can be everywhere on the field. And to be honest, I got to get credit at the end to what everybody said. Oh, take Ronaldo, put Cavani in. Yes, that Ronaldo did not have a great game, but credit to the manager who put 4 forwards and a number 10 to win the game. I had my notes on the side. I did not close the notes even in the 92nd minute because I thought that Manchester United are closer to the win than West Ham by a big margin. And it happened when Martial got the chance at the end. You have seen how many players when in the 18, not afraid to lose the game, but actually going to win instead of just dropping back and being afraid to lose the point. And that happened at the end when you outnumbered West Ham on a counter-attack and you won the game. So game on. Top 4 race is on between 5 teams. Maybe West Ham still in it. We don't know, but definitely Man United are in that contention.
On that number of teams, before we move on, I actually think it's 6. There's one team that no one's paying attention to, but they've got a game in hand, and if they win it, they're in the mix, and that's Wolves. They've just won again.
They just won it. I think they're 2-1 up now.
I know you're saying no, but look at the points.
If they win this game now, they'll go on to 34 points, and they'll have
Can I touch on someone's point there about United?
We're gonna bring NEEKS in to have his say, and then we're gonna move on as well. But we'll stay with that point, and then we'll do it. Viewers, make sure you're hitting that like and that share button. It's time for Man Like NEEKS. Let's do this, people. NEEKS has joined us. I see that I had to do a set change. I was actually getting the Boohoo Man thing in because I didn't have it ready. You were going to say something, bro?
Yeah. I find obviously I know a lot of people are buzzing about the win, right? But let's be real, let's be honest. We played against the West Ham team, right? I want to point that out and look at the style which West Ham play. You have to also take that into consideration. I don't think people are taking these things into consideration. And this is what I mean. A lot of you guys are going to set yourselves up to be upset later on and start picking out things. These players still ain't good enough. We still need a rebuild. A lot of players will get being found out. Maguire, yeah, he done the good defending at bits, but the guy was still getting bypassed easily. It's just lucky. They got Antonio. He's just a Lukaku that can dance. Like, he ain't really that great. Like, imagine playing against other world-class strikers who we can come against. It's going to be a whole different result. So we need to take that into consideration that some of these players, yeah, they could have the odd shy performance here and there, but they're not the answer. We need to rebuild on that.
Yeah, but you're reading the room wrong if that's what you're taking out from this conversation. No one here is saying we're fantastic, we're back, all these players are amazing. Everyone's what we're acknowledging is from where we were before. Even in the last game, with Brentford bopping us off the park, with Ivan Toney, who is Antonio with fancy hair. You know what I mean? Like, so we've been in a position where teams like Norwich playing better football than us, outworking us, teams like West Ham, teams like Brentford, all these other teams were beating us on the football pitch. We may have got a result, we may have nicked it, but they were beating us on the football pitch. It's one game. And I know it's one game, but we've been crying out for
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement. We've been crying out for at least
improve over one game. You go lose the next one.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, but like we've been crying out for at least one game where we can say, "Listen, okay, we can see certain things." And no one's here screaming and shouting and raving that we are the best.
KG, can I add something? Can I just add something? Your expected goals today, your XG was much higher than West Ham, which West Ham are a top team. Like, no denying that they are top 8, top 16. Last game, I think Brentford had better XG than Man United, and even though you won the game. This is what we're talking about. You created chances. These players are not title contenders, but you created chances.
Yeah,
today.
But Brentford are a better ball playing side than West Ham. They may not be a better team,
I
they're a better
disagree.
ball playing side.
I
If
disagree.
you actually,
Z, no, I hear you. Listen, I get where Z's coming from, and for me, I said this 3 or 4 games ago, and I keep telling myself this. I'm not getting carried away. What I'm looking at is in the last 3 matches in the space of a week, we had some brilliant. We controlled a lot of the ball against Aston Villa, but we crumbled under pressure when they put it on us. Brentford, the first half, yeah, they are a better balling side than West Ham, and they outplayed us. Second half, they weren't able to do that because we were more resolute. It's like we took that second half against Brentford into the whole game today. But what we weren't able to do is create and open them up because unlike Brentford, West Ham, they do play in a low block. They're very hard to break down, and we eventually got through it. My view is this, and you're right, new players are needed, especially in midfield. There's going to be a new manager that comes in. But over the last 3 games, there are encouraging signs because if you go back before those 3 matches, the performances were ranked from start to finish. And for me, the last 3 games, if we'd have seen these last 3 performances in the first 3 games of Ralph, we'd have been talking about, we'd have said a little bit of a bounce. We didn't get that bounce. So what I'm now looking for are these players working harder. It looks like Ralph's listened to maybe some of their feedback about the formation and whatever else. And I'm just happy that there is a little bit of progression. Only small, but I think you're right, though. Man United fans shouldn't be sitting there and being like, that's it. We're back now. We're going to be top of the league. We could catch Chelsea.
Martial should stay.
yeah. I think everyone's got to look. And we've still got Pogba to come back into this side. And Paul Pogba being in this team, I think opens West Ham up 2 or 3 more times. So I just think we need to be happy about the result, positive about the display, but not get too carried away. Neeks is here. What are you saying, Neeks?
See, I wasn't gonna come for Z, like he did when he came on last time. But then he starts telling people that we can't be happy that we beat West Ham. Listen,
no, bro, I weren't saying that you can't be happy that. Let's go.
Ding ding. Let's go round 2.
For me, even if we did not score the 90th minute winner, for me it was the best 90 minutes we've had under Ralph, regardless, goal or no goal, in terms of a controlled football game where we were the better side. We weren't miles better than West Ham in terms of cutting them open, creating chance after chance. The goalkeeper ends up man to man. None of that. But if there was anyone who was going to win the game from minute 1 to minute 90, it was always Manchester United. There wasn't even a spell other than maybe 5 minutes after half time where you can say, West Ham looking like they might. There was none of that. West Ham, David De Gea made 1 save, which was right at the end of the game, from a deflected, I think it was a deflected shot or deflected cross or something like that.
It was a cross.
Deflected cross. He had nothing to do. And David De Gea has been our best player this season. So that alone was a complete change from nearly every other game we've had this season in the Premier League. It was a controlled performance. I would say everyone was at least a 6 out of 10. I'll say the centre-backs for me were 7 out of 10. They dealt with Antonio very well. They dealt with Bowen. There was certain situations where it's like, that could be dangerous. And none of them ended with a shot on the keeper. So you say the 2 centre-backs gave 7s out of 10. Everyone was 6s. Now we need everyone to raise those 6s to 7s and 8s. And the issue was that when we got into the final third, either the final pass wasn't good enough or the final shot was either rushed, wayward, bad decision. Maybe we should have passed instead of shot. But West Ham also defended well. West Ham are challenging for top 4. 2 years in a row now, West Ham has been challenging for top 4. We have to give them respect. We have to look at West Ham similar to how we looked at Leicester in the last few years. They're a side where you're not going to go play them and you're going to beat them comfortably every single time. It's not going to happen. So to be that dominant in terms of controlling the game in midfield and defense as against that West Ham side, I think is something to be happy about. It doesn't mean we're back. It doesn't mean that now we're going to win all our games. But what we can say from this game compared to all the other games is that if we play like this between now and the end of the season, we'll win far more games than we lose. Whereas if we played like we did against Brentford between now and the end of the season, we'll probably lose more or at least fail to win more games than we actually do win. So that alone, you can take from this game to say, you know what? Let's see if we can repeat this performance. That's the only difference between first and second and third and fourth. Is the ability to repeat your good performances. Man City repeat their good performances 9 times out of 10, and as you go down the list, that becomes lower out of 10 than higher up in the league. So that's, for me, this was a good performance against a good side. and it's something that we can build upon. We couldn't build on the Brentford win other than momentum and 3 points. So I was happy overall, and I was delighted with the win at the end.
Booker T, NEEKS, aka Booker T.
Listen, guys, this West Ham team won against Chelsea and Liverpool, and today they had their strongest lineup. They had nobody other than Ogbonna, who has not played for a while. They were missing a lot of players against Chelsea and against Liverpool, and they won the games. Today, I did not see De Gea make that like wonder save and save the game and come out as man of the match, as they said. But today, it's a good sign that you can control the tempo. Maybe the players are not good enough in the final third. Maybe the players are not great in the midfield. But the team as a collective were able to control and put this West Ham team in the cage and not letting them out at any time. Yes, they had some chances, but not enough to win the game and not enough to actually cause any trouble or makes any Man United fans sit down being that worried about it, which is different than Chelsea and Liverpool game.
If I may, just jump on that point. Sorry, brother. If I may, I think we're doing that. We do our team disjustice because I think there are so many moments where we've had positive spells or good blips. And it's like, oh, can we believe again? Are we allowed to say, oh, we could be potentially back? You know, and this isn't banter, but I've got to throw it out there. Similar to Arsenal fans, they get their hopes up, they get back down, and rightly so. That's been our chain of thought and emotions for God knows how long I can remember. But I think this is the thing I was alluding to. When you have a system, I call a system or your tactics, whatever, I call that a safety net. So when you have deficiencies, as I think Z was saying about players not being good enough, when your players aren't good enough or they aren't big names or they aren't big talents, big abilities, whatever, you have a system that is your safety net. So if they have their instructions and they stick to it, you are more than likely to hang on and cover most of those deficiencies. And this is the thing, we haven't been seeing it. So when a lot of rival fans and everyone else is saying, oh, you've got this player and that player and that player, that's 1990s, 2000 chat. Football has developed so much that the so-called lesser teams have access to better systems, which means they can go toe-to-toe with that talent and ability. 100%. So I don't mind, personally, if there are certain players who aren't deemed good enough, but they have a system. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in my opinion, I felt that we won most of our games based on the individual talents and abilities and their own creativity rather than the system. So when we played poorly, we couldn't actually maintain or get into the game, and we looked shocking, and then we changed the formation. Whereas Ralph has now got them playing in a certain way where, one, they clearly believe in what he's trying to do. And I think all the noise and the mess that's been going on outside of the club and internally and all the leaks and stuff, I feel he's handled it very, very well to the stage where, let's be honest, if everyone is saying what Martial is, a lazy guy, blah, 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 and he wants to leave, which is fair, there's no way when he gets brought on for 10 minutes that he's busting a gut like that. He was the only one pressing when West Ham were pressing his back and sprinting out there and making those efforts. Clearly, there is a level of respect that has been had within the team, and they're actually making an effort to play for this team. I'm now sitting here saying, yes, my favourite players aren't playing, but if my team is improving because they are doing a job, regardless of their ability, that is something to build on. And I think that foundation there, going into the next game, can only be great.
Yes.
You know, we're 30 minutes in and the man hasn't mentioned Donny van de Beek's name. That's how you know.
Hey, Terry, can I touch on NEEKS? Can I touch on NEEKS?
Just one second. I feel like, listen, I totally get where you're coming from with that. And I want to just say something real quick about the media in this. That was a much better and more solid performance. Obviously, I listened to the commentators throughout the game, and I felt like there was little digs in there the whole time. The game ended, and of course, I was using my VPN, and I was watching the stream with Richard Keys and Andy Gray. It actually gives me a nice throwback to when I was a kid, to be fair. But straight after the game, there was no talk about anything Man United did. It was just that one screenshot being shown of it looks offside, it looks offside. They didn't, because the lines didn't get shown. That's literally the focus of the game is Man United got a goal that probably shouldn't have counted. Should it or what would it, could it? This is where Man United fans' job is to talk about the positives. Yes, we know there are areas to still improve on. Yes, I'd have loved to have seen the substitutions a little bit earlier, but we got the win. We deserved the win. We were the better team. And sometimes I think we have a bad habit of going away from that and focusing on the 2 or 3 negative areas that still need to be improved. You know what? This is football. You should always celebrate. You know, I'm happy now. I can sit down and watch Match of the Day tonight and actually enjoy it. And I haven't been able to do that really for it feels like Right? I haven't been able to for last week. I was ready. In the end, I was asleep by 10:30 because I drunk a little too much last week. I don't even remember. You know the worst part about it was? I'm on a diet, right? So I had a drink. There's no like calories in vodka. So I was like, I'll drink that. Woke up in the morning, right? Half naked with half a pizza in my hand. I was messed up. So I'm glad I passed out because it meant I didn't eat the whole pizza. I'm going to come to you in a sec, Z. We've got my Dizzy to come in as well. I've got some super chats I want to catch up on here. I don't want to miss them. I don't want to be disrespectful. Nabil, one of our legends and super fans, says, you looking at a different game or don't know football. Greenwood doesn't track back. Our wingers are selfish. What's the obsession with shooting outside the box, for God's sakes? Pass the ball. No service to the 9. I agree with that. To answer that super chat, they're still the areas of improvement. There were still Delo and Tellers both had long shots they should never have taken on, as an example. Greenwood should have squared the ball in the opening few minutes, and Ronaldo would have tapped in. Would have been 1-0 up from the beginning, and it would have been a different game. There are still massive improvements for Man United. There is no doubt.
Can I just say quickly on that one? Greenwood, generally, yes, I agree, doesn't track back. Today, he did track back.
Yeah, that's
Greenwood
what I'm saying.
was back there a lot today. So I think we can take our general observation of players as a general analysis. But if we're talking about today's game, no, Greenwood did his tracking back.
That's what I'm saying. The Beals,
and that's why he stayed on longer than Elanga did. Yeah, because if he wasn't tracking back, he would have come on before Elanga.
Man always likes to love to say, "Oh, you've got these people got agendas against my favorite players." Guess what? You got to get agenda against mine. So wash your eyes and actually watch the game, bro.
We have another one here from Alpha. Alpha says Ronaldo played quite well. Hold up play and touches were clean. Made a few good runs. Drove forward to create attacks. Just the same story. Tellers and Greenwood Delo can't play a decent cross into him. Like I said earlier today on the previous show, Terry, once United start clicking, its problems must win for us Gooners tomorrow. Cheers, Corey. I appreciate the super chat as well. And it is now must win for Arsenal. And that's why winning is so important, because it applies pressure. Imagine Man United going to the international break in 4th. Who would have guessed that? Do you know what I mean? Nobody.
Yeah, that's mad.
Delighted with the controlled performance. The passing and decision making was good. They actually looked like they knew what they wanted to do. Congratulations, United. Lucky beggars always last minute. Reminds me of Fergie. And let me just say, in the history of Man United, only now does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have more goals from the bench than Marcus Rashford. So again, that's another little little feather in his cap. It's sad to see that fans can't even celebrate a hard-earned last-minute victory. I think this is at UZ. If you're of salty rivals coming out with abuse, in my opinion, forget the opinions of others. Just celebrate. Do you know what I would say? Listen, if Man United rivals are not calling us cheats, if Man United rivals, so I'm going to say Liverpool fans here as an example. If you're a Liverpool fan and you're not bantering us with your cheats, it was onside. If you're not angry that we won, you don't love Liverpool Football Club. Same for Arsenal, same for Chelsea. If you're not bothered by it or moved by it, I don't think you love your club enough. So come give it to us. That's why the terrace was invented. I remember I was going back over some archive stuff yesterday, and I wanted to just very quickly thank everyone for the support yesterday. I really needed it because I had a bad day. But I was looking back to one of the first streams I ever did, about 3 years ago, where we previewed Arsenal-Chelsea. And we had an Arsenal fan on, Chelsea fan on, me as the host, and we threw a Liverpool fan in there. And I'm just looking at the replay of the live chat. What the hell's the Liverpool fan doing here? I can just about stomach you, Terry. Now, you fast forward 3-4 years, and everybody is mixing up their channels and their shows with fans of different clubs to preview and talk about things. And I just want to thank you guys for doing it. No rivals, barring Mo, have actually joined us today. They've all got the link. None of them have actually called in.
Right. Yeah, people don't know that I'm not a Man United fan. People think I'm a Man United fan because I'm wearing red.
When it comes to it, people, I want the rivals to give us crap. I want the crap. I want the shit. Get it in the comment section. Some of you are just go, well done. It was onside, but we like the banter. Let's keep it going. Oh, my Dizzy's here with us now. But Z, you were going to say something, my bro.
Yeah, going back to what Neeks said, right? Neeks, I totally understand your point in terms of like you're saying I was saying that we shouldn't be happy. I actually came on and actually said that I am happy about the win. I was at the
I
Brentford game.
was being a bit facetious, you know, like a little jab. No, continue.
Booker T,
Continue.
just because you want to spin a Rooney now, bro. Don't do that now, bro. Don't try to spin a Rooney now. Hold it with chest. Yeah, like I said, bro, like I'm happy that we won, but I'm looking at the team, the opponent, and the style of play that the opposition played, and I'm assessing it amongst the other opponents that we're going to come across. Do you get what I mean? It's not me trying to be negative or anything at all. Like, I'm glad that we won this game. I was at Brentford and I was even glad that we won that game. Even though people were annoyed with the performance, I was glad. But what you need to understand is it takes time. And I'm seeing already people saying Martial should stay. No, Martial needs to bounce. I don't care. I rate his performance and I want them to come on to change the game, but Martial should bounce. I see people talk about Maguire had a good game. Maguire, he still needs to bounce. Like, those are the kind of things I'm just looking at. You get what I mean? I'm not trying to be.
You have to put it into context.
How can someone just comment a simple comment of someone had a good game and you just be like, nah, that doesn't matter about the good game. You have to go. Like, no one's screaming.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Lifetime contract, bro.
Cool. So if your missus cheats on you,
I get that, bro, but that's different, fam.
Well, and she cooks a banging jollof rice the next day.
Yeah, that's a cure everything. Yeah,
but no one's telling you to forgive Maguire for his performances. Correct. But if you're going by game, you acknowledge the fact he had a good game. Like that, and that's all it is. No one's here saying
that's the thing. Just to bring it back to your point, right? You're talking about jollof. Bun jollof is dead. Sorry if don't do that. Don't do that. It's dead.
You're mute, Terry.
You're mute, Terry.
Yeah, you're mute, Terry, man.
You're mute, Terry.
The football terrorist does not endorse that message.
That's crazy.
Message.
All right. Let me lay it different then, yeah. In comparison to rice and peas, jollof is dead, yeah? So if you're missing banging rice and peas, yeah? Listen, in comparison, the missus are banging rice and peas and she still cheat on you the day before, yeah? Yeah, she's still a cheat, but I'm still eating that rice and then I'm screwing my face at the person. I will big up the food, and I will still look at her and screw face. And still pack my bags and go. So what my man's ultimately saying here is that he appreciates the rice, or in your case, the jollof dead. But you know what I mean? We're not saying it all is forgiven. We're just saying that based on the back of the performance, there is a bit of improvement. Do they still need to go? Yes, 100%. But as it stands, that's not going to change right now. So it's better off for us to have these performances from some of these so-called lesser players or less able players that we deem, and get the results up into top 4. Then come summer, we can have that sort around. I don't think half of the players that we've got will be staying anyway.
But you don't think that Maguire can become good at all? Like, you just signed a 50 million. Okay, guys, be subjective. Guys, I'm sorry. You just signed a 50 million pound center back from Real Madrid, Rafael Varane, one of the best in business, right? Are you expecting that any coach is going to come, any manager, and say, you know what, we need another 50 million along with a midfielder and someone up front? Are you guys seeing this actually happening?
Well,
next season?
No. I don't. Let me answer this one. Oh, go on, King. No. Do you think? Go for it.
Okay. Well, if reports are to be believed, if Ragnick is allowed to, have control over the transfers moving forward, he did come out and do the presentation to the board and say, Shaw, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka aren't good enough. So, if it's to believe, if he is to have the power that he is to have, and the hierarchy are sorting themselves out like that, there isn't really a reason why we shouldn't be able to replace Maguire.
Can I say?
So can I follow up?
I'm going to throw the NEEKS in a second. I just want to say, after Man United's win today, there could be a title charge on because Southampton are beating Man City. So title charge is on. We're coming back.
Can I follow up? I just follow up. So you guys would just follow up question on this.
One second.
Follow up. You would prioritize signing a centre back over a midfielder or not?
One second.
No, I've been told that report wasn't as completely true as it was as it seems online. However, what I would say is that if we're talking about priorities with Varane, who we just signed in the summer, Maguire, who's at 80, we're signing for 80 million. So if we're going to sell him, we're going to want a decent return. It's not going to be nowhere near 80, but we're not going to sell him for 20. So we have to be realistic. Right. Lindelof is still there, and we're saying that Lindelof and a lot of people saying Lindelof and Varane are our best partnership. And Bailly not too long ago signed a new contract. So a centre back is not going to be the priority for our team, especially when we can't even get rid of Phil Jones, and I believe Axel Tuanzebe is on loan. Midfield and forward line, I think we'll look to strengthen, but I think we're going to have to accept that Maguire is here for at least another season.
Hey, NEEKS, you want him here. You want him here, bro.
Listen, with the 4 centre backs that we have, I'm content as long as the 2 are performing, whichever those 2 are. I'm not loyal to Maguire. I'm not loyal to Lindelof. I'm not loyal to Bailly. I'm not even loyal to Varane, but I respect Varane much higher. I'm not loyal to him. I'm not loyal, but he don't get dropped for the same reason them man get dropped.
Bro, we've got 3 centre backs. We've got 3 centre backs. We've got Bailly who injures himself by playing football. I've never seen Bailly get challenged and injured. He injures himself. You've got Lindelof who's just confused. He don't know what he is. And then afterwards, you've got Maguire who's just suspect. 2 games in, there was a 10-minute fail compilation of this guy. 2 games in to the season. Like, Phil Jones is probably our second best centre back. What does that tell you? We need centre backs.
That's exaggeration.
It's not exaggeration.
Everyone, say that again, please.
I said it. Phil Jones is probably our second best centre back. Bailly is trash. Lindelof is trash.
No, listen. You know what we're forgetting, yeah? We're forgetting that we've got a load of youngsters that are ready to come through right now. I know, yes, they aren't the second coming of Jesus, but Tuanzebe and Mengi, with the greatest of respect, with Tuanzebe and Mengi, with the greatest of respect, under a coach that can clearly get something out of Scott McTominay as a 6, right? That can clearly get better out of Fred. Those players there, whether you rate them or not, whether you think they're too young or not, we can just look at Alanga and say, if he's got the mentality, by all means he can start. That's a basis, right? Mengi and Tuanzebe, for me, in my opinion, and I'm a big fan of Tuanzebe, so let's put that to one side, yeah, in case you think I'm talking from bias. Let's go with Mengi. When he came on and played at left back, did he look out of position? I don't think he did. Did he look out of place? Don't think he did. He showed that he has the level of ability to play in a position that he's never had to play in before, right? For the first team on his debut start. That's quite difficult and tricky, especially under a Manchester United that has been underperforming. That has a lot of pressure. Play him in centre back, give him a chance. To answer the Bredgen's question, I don't think it's a case of going out spending 50 million. I think it would be a case of just developing these well-talented players. And when Tuanzebe comes back from Napoli, hopefully he'll be given a chance, at least a run of games. Then we can talk about it and go, do we need to go and buy another centre back? In that meantime, we could sell a couple of the fringe centre backs, like Eric Bailly, Kingo Wakanda, big ups. Do you know what I mean? You can do that, but if not, up until that point, we make the money from the fringe players. We invest that into another right back and left back or in the midfield, and we hope on the youth from there.
Yeah. But I think we're focusing on the weird thing we're focusing on right now, and I think when we have a win like this and we think about the way we play in the future, like rather than focus on we're gonna have to sell Maguire and all that. I'm doing this. I'm looking at Middlesbrough, Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, Atletico, Watford. Z said something about if we play the way we play against other teams today, it may not bring results. If we play the way we played against West Ham today, against those teams coming up, including Atletico Madrid, because they do play like West Ham, those for me, that's max points we need to take. That's what we should be focusing on.
That's a good point.
And then worry about the summer when you need to replace guys, because after that, who knows? We play well against City. We lose. We'll probably lose, but we play well against them. Some weird thing.
Now,
and then we have Tottenham. And then we have Tottenham. And then that's it. For me, that's the season. That game right there will be, do we go into top 4? Then we talk about next year, because I don't think talking about who we're going to buy is prudent at this moment when we don't know if we're going to be a Champions League team or not, because that changes who we go after.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay, to make your point, we're going to move on to a new subject. Go on, mate.
Oh no, I was about to change it. I was about to divert it.
Okay, so let me go to the next subject then, because you speak about who we're going to buy. I'm getting a lot of people banter United. Why are you celebrating top 4? It's not a trophy. Well, it's a big part of next year. I want to speak about another player that was on the pitch tonight. who I still think was probably the best player on the pitch, even though his team lost today, was Declan Rice. That
baller.
just whether it was defensive or whether it was driving. When I look, Scott McTominay has been very good in these last 3 games, playing in a kind of 6 role. But Declan Rice is just a level above. Is he the kind of player with Pogba leaving? There's obviously a big lump sum of money that we were offering Pogba, 400 odd grand a week. That is tens of millions of pounds over a contract. Is Declan Rice the caliber of player that we should be looking to pump that into?
Yes.
I think I think Rice is. I think no, that's mad. I think Rice's profile is what we need.
Yeah.
Is it necessarily Declan Rice? I'm not too sure, and that's not because. Yeah, that's all. Literally, that's all it is. If he was 50 below, bro, all right, I snap your hand off. Take him now. You know what I mean? Go up to West Ham, smile at Moyes, shake his hand, and take Rice, and then you can have Scott. You know what I mean? Like, do something like that. I would do that. But at 80, 90, 100 million potentially, I feel like there's players that have a similar profile that we can go and get, and we need to get 2. I feel we need 2 midfielders in the summer. And if you're telling me, like Kamara and Hadara, example, for 50 million, or Rice by himself for 90, I'm going with the 2 midfielders.
What kind of midfielders, KJ? What kind of midfielders? So Declan Rice is a defensive mid. What other midfielders you need?
Yeah, we need like that defensive mid, someone that can anchor the midfield, who's strong in the tackle, who can get across the ground and distribute the ball very well and consistently well as well. And then we need like a good box-to-box midfielder that is technical all around, so he can play with his back to goal in defense. He can play a forward pass in the attack. He's aware of his surroundings.
McTominay.
An upgrade on McTominay. I think McTominay's passing lets him down a lot at times, but
he has a lot to improve. Like, you're like, if you get Declan Rice, you can play McTominay.
McTominay is older than Declan Rice.
But I know, but Declan Rice plays with a lot of experience.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Declan Rice is already a proven
the
leader.
issue is, I think what Terry said before, and Terry said it very well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terry. It may not have been you, but it sounds like something you would have said that I got from you. Is that the issue is that McTominay he's not your starter anyway, and the issue is he keeps starting, but he really is actually just a squad player. If he's a squad player, I mean, Terry, take it away. You know more than me. I think you
when I look at Scott McTominay, I see Darren Fletcher, a good central midfielder. And Darren Fletcher, when playing with Carrick and Scholes, was good. He sometimes would go for a run and get. He had actually he had like a 12-month period. Or Harry got sent off in that Champions League. He was like the best midfielder in that Champions League semi-final against Arsenal, and got sent off one of the best tackles you'll ever see. But he'd go through periods where he was just in that midfield, dominant, winning balls back and then passing. He was very rarely spectacular, scored a few goals every now and then, but essential for a team. Scott McTominay, I want him to become that player for us where our main midfield's our main midfield, but we have a suspension or an injury for a few weeks and he steps in and we go, it's fine, Scott comes in. I think if Scott has Lingard should have been that for Man United. Lingard should have been Jasper Blomqvist. Like, comes in when needed, not starting 35 games a season, not when we want to get back to being title contenders. So I think Scott McTominay is fine to stay in. And the thing is, the reason why academy players are easier to do that with is they grow up and have an affinity with the club. They're easier to manage they're easier to manage being squad players. When you buy someone in for 50, 60 million, that's to become the first team attacker. When they don't play, they want to leave and go somewhere else. So another one of those things that people, why do you always prefer academy players, man? It's like so offensive to someone you buy. It isn't offensive. It's like, it's true. It's just, oh my God.
Mercy.
No, but you know what is with Declan Rice? Declan Rice, you're talking about someone, good ball retention, right? Captain at a young age for West Ham. International experience and has gone far. People got to remember, he went to the Euros final. And he's the anchor within that team. He breaks up attacks and he starts attacks, right? The price, I agree with NEEKS and like KJ. The price is a bit, because I'm looking at other targets such as Zakaria, Chouameni, Bissouma. There's a lot of people. I don't know much about this Hedera guy, I'll be honest with you. But if he's good, look at the price that he's got. Are we willing to fork out, what is it, like 100 M's? When we could use that 100 M's and break it down a bit and get like 2 or 3, because I personally think we need about 3.
I put my sorry, but go on. I was just saying, I put my faith in Ragnick.
Yeah, see, my thing is, I've said this so many times. I wholeheartedly believe that United's midfield isn't good enough currently. Fred and McTominay, I don't like to pair them together because that's what a lot of United fans do. They're like a what's it called,
Siamese
conjoined twin
twins.
sort of thing.
The
Yeah,
duo.
yeah,
Yeah, Fred,
exactly,
the
exactly.
best McDonald's breakfast, bruv. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
but see, the day that we can get to a point where McTominay is just a bench player and Fred is also just another bench player, I think United will really be going places. If Pogba's to leave, and Van der Beek is going to leave in the summer if he is not getting consistent game time, then yeah, we're gonna need two. We're gonna need two for sure. But if you notice that, what's it called? Fernandez has been playing a lot deeper the last 2 games. He's definitely been playing more of a midfield role.
Hey,
Good.
yeah, he's been.
I like
But
him.
you see,
can't get
CKJ,
like
I
this,
tell you,
yeah.
the man is not. He's not a support striker. The man is a midfielder. He was
You know what, yeah?
Wait.
because he's that good to do it.
He only got called a support striker because people tried to downplay the level of goals he gets as being not abnormal. Oh, for a support striker, it's a normal level of goals. For a midfielder,
I would say that because that's what I believe that you can get the best out of him. I want to see him scoring all the
in
ridiculous
fairness
amount
to
of
KJ,
goals. fam.
we're going to reveal it now on the show. That's why we took Midnight Vibes away because the ball knowledge is.
Ross.
Nah.
That's funny,
fam.
right?
Oi,
Someone in the comments here is like, but Jasper Blomqvist in 98-99 played more games and gigs, started more games and gigs. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm going to take your word for it. That's the thing with good squad players. You will go through periods that there was a time in between 2008 and 2010 where Fletcher was starting lots of games for Manchester United, but they'd use him. It would be like, today, Fletcher, you're doing a man marking job. You're just going to follow so-and-so around and not leave them alone. Today, you're covering Paul Scholes because we're resting him because he's 38, 39. And the same with, God, City. Oh, the God. Oh, no, offside. They're about to give Southampton a penalty. They nearly got a penalty. Jeez. Anyway, so look, you can have that. You might go for a period. You might find that if we bring in Hadara and Ruben Neves and we want to play three in midfield, you might suddenly find McTominay comes in for a couple of games because of an injury, and the three together are amazing. You look at Liverpool, with all due respect, if you'd have said like 6-7 years ago that the best midfield in the league for a couple of years would be Gini, Fabinho, and Jordan Henderson, you would have got laughed at. But as
Milner off the bench.
Yeah, and you put that, but as a collective and what it did for the team, it worked. So it isn't always about who the best footballer is, it's who the best team is. And I think sometimes there's a famous quote from Sir Alf Ramsey, the only Englishman to win a World Cup as manager. And he said, I never pick my best players, I pick my best team. And that's what I think people have got to learn, that managers pick their best teams. They don't pick their best players per se, as it were. Yes, Cage?
Yeah, can we segue into something else? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the one question I've got for everyone is we've all seen the change in formation. The defensive structure is slowly getting better as time goes on, but the attack is still looking a bit disjointed. Sometimes still look like there's no idea what we need to do to get past the line of defense. My question is, what combination of players do you think is the one that works? Because right now we're using Elanga, Greenwood, and Ronaldo, and it doesn't seem to be as conducive. Like, so out of all the attackers that we've got quite a few very talented ones as well. I still believe in all of them. What do you think the solution is to get the best out of our attacking three now that we're going with?
You know what, KJ? Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword on this one, just because of the current state of where we are right now. I'll break it down this way: if every single player in our squad was on the same wavelength and, let's say, patterned 80% of what Ragnick wanted to do, on a game, and you knew whenever they played, regardless of the player, ability, talent, etc., they were able to do their jobs as instructed. Then we could start to have that discussion of, okay, well, then it's going to come down to the type of player or the player profile as was used when people spoke about Declan Rice, right? So when it comes down to the player profile, for example, if you want someone who's going to feed Ronaldo as your main striker, you're going to want creative wingers and creative players behind him, right? And this is with the idea that everyone's still following Ragnick's plan, but in key moments, their individual style of football will be different. So decisions will be different based on the type of football, i.e. Rashford's quite direct, Greenwood's direct. Sancho, his first thought is, let me create something before I shoot. So that's when we get to that stage. Unfortunately, Man United are not there. So as today, although maybe our most creative players weren't there in terms of the attacking sense of things, other than Bruno, and obviously Pogba's out, the team performance was better because they seemed like they were more suited to Ragnick's style. So my argument for that, which is another, I suppose you could say, something you have to take into consideration, is that until every player is happy in the system, you're only going to get the players ultimately that are playing the system well. And like today, that team, as it stands, is our best 11 until. However, if it was left to me, again, I would prefer Martial left and Sancho right because I know they're creative players, but that is a preference. So I
Where's the
don't think we
pace?
can have that answer yet. I mean, you guys may think different, and I'll be happy
No,
to hear
I hear what you're saying
can't.
because,
I
like,
say-
in theory, the profile of a Martial and Sancho for the creating chances for Ronaldo is better than having Greenwood and Elanga, who are both very direct strikers, by trade. But if Elanga and Greenwood are suiting the system that Ranieri's trying to implement better, then you can't say that Martial and Sancho is going to be better because they might not do what he wants. So no, I fully hear what you're saying. It's so because it's so much it's early days and there's a lot of players who haven't even played many minutes under Ranieri, especially now we just changed to this 4-3-3. It's a couple of weeks ago we're talking 4-2-2-2. So it's hard.
You know what I would say to it as well, like on that, it's a really good point. It's also, look, we've got managers, we've got players from 4 or 5 different managers. We've got Fergie's players in this team still. Moisey's player in the squad in terms of one matter. You've got LVG still got players here, Jose, and we've got 5 managers players in this squad. So you are going to have a few square pegs in round holes, and that's why patience is key, irrespective of the manager. Because if we're going to start playing this 4-3-3, if we want to start, we need better ballers to be able to open up sides. It's going to take time to integrate them. But as fans, we just have this weird feeling of, I want it now. The best run clubs have it instantly because they've been buying players with that ability prior to a new manager coming in. Gerrard fits how Villa want to play and the kind of players that they've brought in. If Gerrard took over with the Burnley squad, they wouldn't be playing the football as nicely as Aston Villa's is. It's about a club having an ethos and a philosophy, and that's where we're really struggling. It's 5 managers squads all blended together trying to play Ralph's way of football when none of them have played Ralph's style of football before in their life. So that's got to be fixed for me ever before we think about anything else, if that makes sense. It's going to take 2 or 3 years to build this. I didn't want to rebuild. I was told it had happened, but we're having one. We know we're getting one now. Rebuild is coming. It's absolutely coming.
And on that, slightly touching on today's game, I think if Ragnick has managed Rashford to the point of bringing back his confidence, I think it's hard to argue him being back in the starting 11.
100%.
I think if you have Rashford on the left, who he's had, I think maybe, what is it, like 3-4 years now on the left? So now that's a role that he knows very well. He's got a lot of energy, so he can get up and down the pitch. And then if you can get Sancho, which is more of a creator on the right, which he was brought to be a right winger. I don't know how he's managed to get 6 months into his United career without playing on the right. Insane. But here we are. If you can get him back to confidence the way Ragnick, if it works out, has managed to get Rashford slowly reintegrated into the team, I think Rashford, Ronaldo, and Sancho is our ideal top 3, with Martial coming in on the left for however long he's here, or Elanga coming in for impact and energy, and then Greenwood dropping in and out of different lineups and that sort of thing.
The one of the things that people need to understand about like the system, that when you have a right fullback or a left fullback that can cross, and you bring someone like Ronaldo, you will need people that can provide crosses, not only dribble like Greenwood. So the problem on the right side of United is that Dalot or Wan-Bissaka are not like great in crossing. And Greenwood is a guy that would like to go to the goal and be in the center. On the left side, Alex Telles and Luke Shaw are both can cross from deep, from early. You don't have to reach the byline. And this is the reason why anybody that plays on the left, it is okay if they tuck in, go inside, be next to Ronaldo. But on the right side, until you get a right back that can put in crosses like Reece James, like anybody, like most of the guys in the league, you can't have a right winger that likes to be a second forward. Because if you have a Ferrari over Ronaldo that feeds on crosses, You're not gonna. You don't want wingers that will cut in and not feed him any crosses, which is what is happening on the right side, and that's something that needs
And that's
to be
why
addressed big
we
time.
want what Jadon Sancho in, because the goal that we scored against Watford, I know we lost that game, but the goal we scored against Watford started with Sancho's amazing cross to Ronaldo, who then decided to square it to Donny. That's
Why
why
do you
I
think
believe-
Sancho doesn't play? Why Sancho doesn't play on the right?
Well, Ragnick spoke about it, and it seems to be more of a mental thing, more of a mental adjustment to playing in the Premier League. Obviously, he's just had a bereavement in his family as well, so there's that as well. But I feel like Sancho's still adjusting. I feel like with him, like he came in with all this expectation upon him, and it just hadn't started. Like he came into an unsteady ship as it is with the whole Oli situation, and his.
I think you have to
and-
remember, Rashford was injured, Martial was out. So the only position available, not the only position available, but when Dan James went and Ronaldo came in, it was Greenwood and Sancho. Those are your two wide options. So you're not going to put Sancho on the right and Greenwood on the left. So he came into a team where the logical spot for him was on the left. Then Rashford came back in. He wasn't, he came off the bench. He wasn't banging up. Well, he was banging off the bench, but he wasn't really playing that well. Martial's barely played this season. So I think the reason why he hasn't really played on the right is because we needed someone on the left pretty much all season. I think that's the main. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, and look, I think it's very, very difficult to. Sorry, I thought City were about to score. It's very, very difficult to assess everything going on at the club. When look, banter-wise, everybody wants, bum-cho, scam-cho, everything else. Everybody wants to do that. That's funny and it's great. But when you actually review it, the whole team was in a mess. The reason I wanted certain players dropped because their form was the pits. But the reason that I didn't spend 9 weeks slamming certain players, that's it. Oh my God, Sterling, how did he miss that? Oh my days!
You're ahead of me. You're
gosh.
ahead of me.
Is it another Sterling one-on-one? Is it one of them
it's
ones
not
or the open goal?
happening. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Leon
That's tough.
2.0, baby.
That's tough.
Oh, I mean, yeah, great save, but he should be burying it. Oh, great save. Yeah, very good save, but he should be burying it, in my opinion, from there. But what I'm saying is, like, what was I saying? Yeah, I know what I was saying. Like, you get to this sort of situation whereby nobody was playing well. It was everybody. If it was just Rashford having a stinker, or just Sancho, but everybody else was balling. There was structure. If we were controlling games like today and 2 or 3 players were creating chances, everybody was scoring, we were winning, and one guy was dropping stinkers, then I'd look at it and go, it's a Sancho issue. It's a Rashford issue. It was a team issue. And as soon as now the team is starting to get a little more balanced and there's a long way to go, we're starting to see confidence come back within people. And right, taking players out of the limelight, slowly reintegrating them. You see Rashford when he scored that goal against Brentford. He had that, some players have been on goal drought had that stern look on their face after they scored, like, yes. And then he couldn't help but burst into us. I ain't seen him smile for months. I haven't seen him smile for months. And you've got to think as well, both those 2 players committed what, in a footballing sense, a crime. They missed penalties for England that stopped us from winning the Euros. And put the abuse to one side, which is a part of it. How that must make you feel. If I scored my penalty, we could have, like, all these things take their time. And then they come back to Man United and it's an absolute mess. All these things don't help. People will say that's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's a real genuine reason. And part of it is creating balance in our team is what's needed to make us attack better, to your original question, I think, KJ. On top of it, it's just getting these players back feeling like themselves. Because if you get Sancho confident like he was in Germany, Rashford back to his very best, I don't care about the people that rate them. It's a problem for everybody. Rashford is quite simply one of the best left inside forwards in the world. One of the best. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not even saying he's world class, because you could be in the top 3 and not world class, in my view of the world class. But he's one of the best. He will score and assist and create goals at a rate where only 2 or 3 players in the last 3 years have been able to outperform him. So I don't care for the eye test. I don't care for, I wish he dribbled 2 or 3 times more per game. Cool. No one is producing more than him, really. Outside of, I think, Son, and there's one other player. I want to say it was Icardi, who's considered a left inside forward on
Vinicius Jr.
Well, maybe now, but I'm talking like last 2. Vinicius, only really this last year that Vinicius has picked up. I can't remember who the other guy was, but like it's just Ralph's doing a very
Neymar on the left.
and I saw your tweet. I think I saw your tweet. Was it your tweet, Sunshine, around all the people that doubted Ralph? Was it you? It might have been United Source, actually. Somebody just tweeted, I just see it a minute ago, talking about how all the people that were doubting Ralph, man like Johnny, if you are watching, didn't you call him like the German Ollie or something a week or so ago?
He did Ollie 2.0.
Did he actually say this as well?
Ollie 2.0.
Slow down.
He didn't say he is. He was like he's starting to become. So that caveat, that kind of
He's not
caveat.
gonna carry away. He's not gonna like. It's okay that today you played. Okay,
are we on international break?
Sorry.
So are we on international break next?
Oh,
or
no,
like
it's
winter?
Yes.
It's winter break. It's winter break. So
there are internationals, but they're non-European. So non-European teams are international.
South
But they have got
Americans.
like some non-European. But
It's
it's a winter break for England for the Premier League.
Okay.
Some warm weather training and stuff like that. I just want to say a big shout out again today to our title sponsors, Boohoo Man. As we said at the top of the show, there is an extra 10% discount you can get off of any of their clothing range. There are a few exclusions for some of the heavily discounted items already because it's already heavily discounted. So you don't need any more discount. But we've got a link in the description for you to click on and go and check out. Have a little bit of a shop tonight. They sell a lot of things. You might want to buy something for your other half. You might want to buy something for a brother, dad, whatever. If you use promo code TFT10, you get a further 10% discount courtesy of us today. So go and check that out. Everyone that's been on the show, thank you. To all my super chatters, you're absolute legends. My members, I love you. My viewers, you're brilliant. My trolls, I kind of like you because you keep the energy good. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. The wonder boy, Marcus Rashford is back. Well done, Man United. Commiserations to West Ham. The top 4 race